Hi, everyone. My name is Joe Testa. I am the Vice President of Artist Relations for the Zildjian Company, of which under the umbrella is the Vic Firth brand. And today, very excited to do our vfJAMS reunion part 2. And I'm going to do it with my co-host. I'm going to bring on right now Robert Sput Searight. How
Yes,
are you, brother?
I'm doing great. Thank you.
How you feeling?
I'm feeling great, man. It's a good
Excellent.
Monday morning.
Yes. Yes, it is. I'm broadcasting from vacation. I couldn't miss this. I had to be part of this. So I'm in a remote area somewhere in upstate New York. But anyways, I just wanted to. Today's a pretty exciting one because we have. You know what? I didn't realize was. I thought about it a little bit before we started. These are the bookends of the show, man. Other than you, like you did the. Your thing was spontaneous, and we'll get to that event in a few episodes later. But the planned show or the planned performance, these were the bookends.
Oh wow, I don't. It's all a blur to me. I don't remember.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was kind of funny. It's kind of hip actually. So and when I say bookends, we started the first performance we had done was Devon Tower, and the last one we did was Benny Greb. And so let's bring both those guys on with us. Have them join us. Hey
Benny,
boys.
yeah.
Guys,
What's
Look at
up,
we
oh,
man?
got
good to see you.
Germany, Dallas, Atlanta, and upstate New York right now.
Wow.
So crazy. So Spot, where do you want to start? Who do we want to start with here?
We start with Benny, man.
Okay.
So do we want to watch the video first, or do we want to just dive in here? We're gonna dive.
Let's No, let's show the rehearsal clip, rehearsal clip, and then we'll
Oh
ask Benny.
no.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
no.
Well, yeah, and then
Why?
because then we can ramp up the greatness.
Oh, damn
All right, let's run that rehearsal clip.
it. Nah.
Yeah, yeah, man.
So
Oh.
give us a little. Go ahead, Spike. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, let's talk about like going into that day, going into the rehearsal, and just kind of just break down your whole thought process going in.
Um a little behind the scenes thing for me is actually, and I talked today with my girlfriend about it, who was with me at the shoot and at the rehearsal, Joanie, and because the day before I couldn't walk. I had somehow like twisted my ankle and stuff.
Oh
So
my gosh, I forgot about that.
yeah, so I was on
That's right.
crutches. But I didn't want anyone to know. I didn't tell you, Joe. I told you
No,
after the
you did.
fact. I
You
told you
called me.
after. Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
I thought you called me and said, "Don't tell anybody anything." Maybe I'm making that up, but I remember hearing that and freaking out. But and you showed up, and
Yeah. So that was a lot in my head. So I don't want to complain. It's all fine, but that was in my head like that a couple of days before. But I was like, oh no, I hope this is gonna. I'm not gonna tell anyone. I'm just gonna muscle it out. Just gonna, but that was very exciting for me. Um, and then when Spot told me like, dude, you were in LA. Why didn't you come to the a couple of rehearsals we did before? I'm like, I couldn't. But I was super nervous. I mean, to have monsters like Devin there and like all these amazing players that I look up to, and it was just nerve wracking, honestly. But it was also incredibly beautiful because Spud put new life into a song of mine that I've written 15 years ago. It was one of the first songs I've ever released on my own, and I was a little bit like, yeah, I still play that and blah. And then Spud, or should we go into that already?
Well, yeah, we're gonna go into that. That's the second way, I guess. But
Okay. It's
I guess I just wanted to hear, like, first of all, I had no idea what happened. Like,
oh, I would love to tell you that it was something heroic, like me saving some puppies out of a fire or something. But it was just me being in a cafe in Santa Monica and looking at a dog, and I told to my girl like, "Oh, that's a nice," and I just like my. And for some reason, I'm not used to those high sidewalk kind of how do you call them?
Curve.
Yeah, those curbs, like ours are like half the size, and sometimes they're like in LA they're like that, and so they can stop a truck, I guess. I don't know, but safety first. Anyway, but so there was this thing. I was going out of the thing, and I was like, oh, that's a nice. And my the ankle of my foot, so to speak, was like click. I'm like
Oh,
and it kind of and I just collapsed like there was like a trap door or something. I just was like, "Ugh." And it was the most embarrassing thing. And people, yeah. Anyway, but then I realized, so, oh man, this is swelling up. This is like, oh fuck. Or I don't know. I don't want to curse. I'm sorry. But that's what I thought. Okay. And so I spent like 2 or 3 days trying to cool that thing and hoping that I will still be able to play on that day. And then when we came to the location, I was psyched up by the location alone already because it's such an historical place, and I mean, I was able to walk into that room where the Wrecking Crew recorded, and the Sinatra room itself where we were. I mean, just being there is like a cathedral of music history, and to then put my 20-inch bass drum there and tune it up and play my song. It's just, I mean, I'm just grateful to you guys for allowing me to do that. It was incredible.
and speaking of gear, we had a couple of gear issues at the beginning too when you showed
Yeah,
up. I remember you going, man,
yeah.
we got it, and we had to make a couple quick calls to get some changes.
I want to be nice to Sona here. They did their best, but it was a little bit tricky on that day. But a little bit behind the scenes, if people wanna look closely, Matt Garska was nice enough to give me a cowbell holder that I used as a 10-inch tom attachment. Otherwise, I would have only played with one tom. I don't know. Maybe the same happened to Mark Juliana on that shoot. I don't know, but otherwise, my set would have looked like his. But yeah, so that was
That's
a
great.
close call. But yeah, I mean, again, I don't want to complain because I think this is normal. I mean, and Devin, of course, and Spud, and everyone has like millions of stories about that. I'm in no way special about this stuff. I think it's part of the job to perform good despite all kinds of stuff that happens around it. And I think there's also something graceful about. And I had to think of Sinatra a lot, like on that day, because I think he was also a guy who, he was one of those guys who performs with like high fever and but still smiles and does his thing. It's like there's something graceful about doing it and not showing everyone your little troubles, but just like to do a good show and to do the best you can. And the most beautiful thing, and this is super hippie-ish, but then I will stop, I promise. But I think the most amazing thing is when you then play, like all of that stuff is always gone, right? That's the most amazing thing. My theory is that that is also the reason why, like some musicians can actually like be involved with drugs and all kinds of weird stuff and still be able to perform because in that moment of perform, which we all don't recommend, right? Um, but because in that moment of performance, like that's just like that's what matters and everything else doesn't. And so yeah, sorry for the long answer, but that's how I felt.
No, that's great. And Benny, did I call? Was it Spud or myself that called you to invite you to do it?
Um, I don't remember that. I I just remember that. Oh, there is an echo now. Do you hear that too?
Yeah.
Okay. Did any one of us change anything? Maybe it's me. I don't know. No, I mean, of course, we were Spud and I. We were in contact. I don't know who was the first contact, so to speak. Um, but I remember talking with Spud back and forth, of course, about song selection. And I just came out with my album Grapefruit 2 that I was very, very proud of. And I was like, oh, we're going to play all those songs. It's going to be amazing. And we're going to choose the one with the 7 and the 5 and everything. And then Spud was like, man, how do you count that? And I was like, oh, he doesn't like it that much. And then we played together at the Bach show. Do you remember in France, in Paris, France?
Right. And you played
Wonderful, yeah, wonderful drum festival. I mean, amazing. Wasn't Mark Juliana also there? Aaron Spears was there.
it was me and Aaron Spears and some Mark wasn't there, I don't think.
No, amazing, amazing lineup. Like all
Yeah.
amazing guys. And
Emery and all
oh
these,
yeah,
yeah. Kaz Rodriguez was
Carlos
there.
Rodriguez. Yes, yes. We went to dinner afterwards. Anyway, so I played that Grapefruit song, and then which is usually my closing bit. And then Spud was like, "We will do that song, man. We will do that one." And I'm like, "Oh, I've written that 15 years ago." And I just thought like, "Oh, I don't know whether we can like breathe new life into that or like do it as a band version." And then Spud did, of course, his magic to it, and then I had to practice my own song again. Damn it! No, it was amazing.
That's actually what I was gonna ask you about. Basically, just take us. So this entire experience for you is this like the first time you did something like this? In terms of coming to showcase with a band that you never full of people you never met before, right?
I mean, I did that of course, as a sideman and as studio stuff where you like play for, but then you're not in the focus. You're just like you're doing whatever you're told, and that's the job, and that's fine. But that I I normally present my material with all like I organize everything and blah, and I organize the guys, and I have a say in all of that. But that that I in a beautiful way felt like a guest in with my song somehow. That yeah, that was the first time like that, and that was beautiful actually.
Had you played with that kind of configuration? Because I want to hear your perspective, and then we're gonna talk about what I did to kind of make this song what it became for the vfJAMS
Yeah, I
project.
mean, honestly, I just it never occurred to me to. I mean, first of all, the Grapefruit song itself, and also Grapefruit 2, that's an a cappella. For those people who don't know, it's like an a cappella album plus drums. I sing all the voices, and I do. It's a very egocentric project. I do all the. It's just me, 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 and it was just a fun thing for me to do. I love the sound aesthetic of it. I've found it a little bit funny, and I just found it a challenge as well. And so uh, so that was, of course, then anyway a completely different animal. Then later, when I do albums with bands and stuff, I do the arranging and I do the so yeah, it was very difficult, different, difficult maybe as well. Maybe this is a Freudian slip. It was very difficult for me, just emotionally. Okay, it feels good to talk about it.
Well, yeah, I think I want to. Well, this takes us to maybe we could go over to my Logic files where we did the demoing.
Oh.
So what happens here is we are. I fell in love with this song when I saw him at the Bag Show. Was that the Bag Show or was that something else?
No, it was the back show, I think. Yeah, at the Moulin Rouge in Paris.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I was like, this is cool. But the thing that I thought was the most cool about it was that the fact that you were playing with your voice. Right. So for me, it would have been very interesting for me to like basically create an arrangement, like a big band arrangement, if you will, around your voice.
Right.
kind of use your voice in places and play with substitutions and harmonies and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So when I got when I got the MP3 from you, I'm just gonna play what I was hearing and how I chopped it up, and I'm gonna let you guys hear it. Here we go. Let's see. Come on.
Why did we leave that intro out?
Because there was no way they could hear this. So I start chopping it up.
Yeah, that's the theme then. Yeah, the melody.
Let's just take that much.
Yeah.
So if you listen, that was the melody. We left it just simply because it was basically it was hard for me to tell the band to count going into the intro.
No, that was just a joke. I would have left it out as well.
So like that's kind of essentially why we left it out, though. So
yeah,
here we are now. We have the just the melody of the song, and the reason why it splits and you don't hear the other side of
it. Then there are your lines probably.
Right. So the whole point is a call and response type thing.
Yes.
So now we can listen to how it became what it is. Because my idea was to just have the band just like answer the call, you know,
Yeah.
like, hello, how you doing? I'm fine.
Yeah.
Here we go. Let's keep going. So this is the Brit. This is like the B, I guess the B section. I guess where let's listen to his voice first, and then we'll hear with the band. So that's what I had to work with, right? So this is what we did with to incorporate, to make this something that the band could join in on.
Right.
So there's a hit that's in the middle of this.
Yeah.
You can see where the hole in the waveform is. You can see it.
That was my favorite one.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
So now you see that most of what I'm doing in this array, Benny made it really easy because all I'm doing is adding notes to what he was already doing. Like rhythmically, I'm adding like harmony structure to it because there's already a melody there, and he was basically singing the bass line. So
But I mean, you were basically like it is. I mean, it's like mind reading in a way because for me that part was always kind of like, oh, I'm gonna do a Tower of Power part. Like this is the it's kind of a, I. And the funny thing is, although it didn't come out that way, but that's how I kind of thought it too. It's like a kind of a baritone sax or a low instrument, and then there's like more, and that's exactly how you then did it. And I was like, oh my gosh! So it's so wonderful that it was great for me to hear that. It's just a joy. Thanks again. This is awesome.
Let's go. Man, my pleasure. First of all, man, it was such a pleasure to.
Cheers to that. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It's a little rude, to bring your own glass and not.
It's very late in Germany now. It's almost 10 here.
Didn't offer anything.
Yeah. Well, I was gonna say, I mean, I was really excited about the opportunity to do this, but just to be able to work with you, period, because you're of nature on the drums, but you're just an awesome person to be around, and so this was a really cool idea. I mean, experience for me as well. So let's go to the bridge, man. This is like probably my favorite part of the song.
I'm blushing the whole time here doing this show.
So
very embarrassing. This is too much positive emotion for a German, that's for sure. Jeez. It's very stressful. I'm sweating. Okay, please.
All right. The bridge, it goes from the bridge directly into the solo, and so we'll play this, and then we'll bring solo on.
Can I give one credit first?
Yeah.
That is always forgotten because it's always like this Greb album, it's me and everything is me and stuff. I have to give credit to a wonderful friend of mine, a dear friend of mine. The guitar solo on the original recording is from Peter Wölpel, who used to play in Billy Cobham's band for many years.
Oh, okay.
Like and he did the guitar solo for this, and I mean there was absolutely no reason for him to say yes to that back then when I was like 20 and just was like, hey man, and he was like, yeah, sure, and I think he did a great job as well. But yeah, anyway, I just wanted to say that Peter Wölpel, amazing guy and wonderful player.
All right, so here we go. This is the B section. I mean the bridge section. All right, let's just do that much, and you can hear what the insertion was. All right. So now you see, like the object was, for me in this section, was just to take the lower part of the band, the low frequencies of the band, like the Barry sax, even have the guitar player play down, boom, 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 and all the keyboard players, everybody play down. So you had the trombone, the Barry sax, the bass, the guitar playing octave down, and the keyboard players playing at the bottom of the keyboards. So that was the idea there for the first half of it. And then the second half was to blow it up and have it spread it out and have everybody play chords, have the horns, so now you can hear it from
and that's the thing that you do so great, I think, to create a certain magnetism towards the next part or a certain transition or a build up. I think that's something that I'm really inspired by. I think also in Devon's in the song that Devon played, there's always like just a lot of dramaturgy, like in terms of energy levels and stuff,
Yeah.
of like going to a higher level part, like in terms of energy, going to a lower level part where it's a little bit more sparse. And that part, for example, mine was kind of like pretty linear, and you kind of built that kind of crescendo in that leads into the next part, which is just yeah, I mean, these are wonderful tools, and for anyone out there who's like arranging and stuff, I mean, this is the good stuff. So
Yeah.
Takes you on a ride.
Yeah, that's the whole point for me, is to try to make a story, make the song tell a story.
it propels it forward. It's like the motor of
Right.
the thing, right? It's like, oh, there's this, and there's like another step, and then there's but it's still the same material in a way, but it's not just repetition. So yeah, great, well done.
So let's listen to it again and go to the next part, which is the guitar solo.
Yeah.
By the way, I'll talk about that after.
That's Peter Werber right there.
All right. So first of all, Peter's solo on there was so badass that I actually wrote, like, I wrote it into the part. Like, I wrote.
Yeah, I
like,
heard it. I mean, the keyboards are doubling it in your version, right?
yeah,
Oh man.
and so what happened is let's bring. This is the perfect time to bring Mark on.
Okay. Mark Lettieri.
Mark,
Hey, Mark.
ladies and gentlemen,
Hey guys,
Oh man.
All right.
how you doing, brother?
you caught me in the middle of submitting a copyright claim to someone on YouTube for reposting my shit without asking,
Yeah.
which I'm not a fan of. How's it going?
I'm sorry,
guys?
that was me. I admit
Definitely
it.
was not anyone in this arena here. These are all good fellas, upstanding citizens.
Yeah.
I love the Jacob Collier in my room kind of camera position that you have.
Oh, well, it's better than the laptop. I noticed my laptop was getting really hot, so I was like, I should probably go to the desktop before I have some sort of meltdown here. So and I think the audio is probably better now, too.
Yeah.
Good to see you, Mark.
You too, guys. How's it going, everybody?
Pretty good, man.
Good.
So
Great.
we're getting to the part.
I heard some talking about some kind of guitar solo.
Well, yeah. So I was explaining to Benny, and the rest of the guys that I wrote the guitar solo as a part in the song, and
Right.
so can we talk? Can you tell us about, like, getting this file and hearing this stuff and knowing that you were going to be the guy the solo, and then we're gonna talk about what happened in rehearsal. And
Okay. Well, I mean, I think the first thing that I asked you was like, do you want me to play this? Like, do you want me to learn the solo, or do you want me to do my own thing with it? And I think your answer was sort of like murky, like learn parts of it, but at the same time do your kind of thing. Because I think, yeah, I remember you had a couple chord stabs that I think you wanted everyone to play.
Right.
And I think, if memory serves, when we started rehearsing and cutting the track, it was like everyone's brains were so full of mud at that point with all the stuff that we had learned, that I think you were just like, just play.
Right. So I told you to learn the first A bars.
Right.
That's it. I was like,
And I think I did, maybe. I don't, or didn't. Or attempted to. I don't know. You know.
I just remember in rehearsal, you was looking at me like, man, do I have to play that?
Probably. I think, yeah. I mean, I think at that point, I was like, now I have to learn a guitar solo. Like after all the stuff I had learned, it was just like I can improvise without having to think. Maybe we should try that. But So I think I may have attempted to get as much of it down as I could, but
Oh man.
I thought about it and I was like, we had all agreed that it was a badass solo, but then
for sure, yeah. I mean, that was the thing. It was so awesome. It was like I didn't want to like blow it.
Man, I have to say one little thing because it fits so nicely. I did some research for my book. I'm writing this book about efficient practicing at the moment, and I asked Peter, Peter Wölpel, who played the solo. I asked him for some research, like a couple of questions, and one of the research questions was like, "Who are your favorite guitarists and stuff?" And he named you as one of his favorites. So
wow.
I think it just fits
Peter,
very well,
very
and I think he would be very happy to hear that. And I will send him.
Yeah,
the link,
I mean,
so.
well, it's such a cool. He had such a cool sound, and it was so much his sound that sometimes, to be a player to try to kind of, do that. I would rather just listen to him do it, and then you can listen to me pee all over your song instead.
No. I mean, I think, but what you mentioned earlier, Spud, and also you, Mark, is like, I think what people out there sometimes don't realize, and we have to say it again, like they see these videos like 1 month apart, and Vic Firth like kind of creates content like over the whole year with that.
Sure.
But what people I think sometimes forget is like what we're experiencing and what Spud is kind of doing with the band is that it's a band in a room. It's one day, and there are all these drummers like in a line, and then you get like 2 takes, and then it's the next thing, and you have to empty your head, and then put the new stuff in your head and do the next one, and play with a very different character with a different song. And I think that is. And although that doesn't come out in the single videos, but I think when people out there know that, they have to know that, and I think that just is even more credit to you guys. You did such an amazing job in like handling that, which is just in a sense a
and
nightmare.
Benny,
easy for him too. I make it.
Yeah, you make it. But to that point, Benny, like there's that balance of trying to produce a live show, but also be able to have individual content that goes out for a year. So
Sure.
These guys are one of the only bands I know that could do that. Like where the amount of stuff coming at them in those 2 days, like there's the 1 day rehearsal and then the next day we do it, and everybody that's there watching is blown away, and everybody's just blown away. It's just outrageous that they're able to even do it. Like you said, Mark, Benny was the last one that day, except for the one where we pushed everybody to do Sput's tune right on the spot. But
yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
But you guys, you're like you said, your brain was mush by that point because it's like it was so much overload, But you guys crushed it,
and it was 2 takes and done. That's it.
Yeah, that's crazy.
2 tries.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, technically, if you didn't like it, one of the 2 takes, we could have done it the third one.
Yeah.
You're telling me now?
By the end of yours, Benny, you're lucky they only made you. They should have just had you do it once. You're lucky they didn't make you say no more.
Right.
Oh, that's awesome.
So Mark, go ahead.
No.
I was gonna say, so Mark. So after we decide, I mean, because finally I'm in rehearsal and I'm feeling the energy. I'm feeling the energy of the band had headaches and we needed to move on. And so I was, you know what? I'm like, how the hell with it? Mark, play what the hell you want to play, man. This is Mark Lettieri. Let's just recreate something else. Because I mean, and as an arranger, this is the part where you kind of have to, constantly check yourself and make sure that you're doing the right thing for the music as well, or the arrangement as well. Because I could have gotten so married to the idea of making Mark learn those 8 bars and me and Searight play those new parts to that solo. And instead, it turned out to be the most organic thing. We ended up doing the same thing anyway, because Benny was listening to what you were playing. And do we have that clip?
Yeah. I want to show that because the interaction between Mark and Benny and how they played it's outrageous.
Right. So it ended up
So-
happening. That was the point.
Yeah, that was the fun part.
I was trying to write it. But sometimes you got to let the organic moments happen itself. And
But we write stuff for you all the time, and you never play it the way we tell you to play it.
Oh my goodness.
So let's play the guitar solo.
Yeah.
I just realized I make this. I just was doing this the whole time. I make really bad faces. Every
yeah,
time I watch myself play, I'm like, oh man, I gotta fix that.
Hey man, so I want to first of all, bravo,
Yeah, bravo.
like for real, like it was a very, I mean, like this, it was the best decision because it couldn't have worked out any better, and we did that twice, so I had to pick. Me and Benny had to go back and see which one was that we thought.
Yeah.
But that was a hard decision just between the two takes because we did two good takes of this, and it boiled down to what drum solo Benny wanted.
Sure.
You know?
Yeah.
So I think personally, like, and to go back to what I'm saying, like, you know, sometimes it's cool to get away from what you write or what you know, and let the people that are playing the parts just kind of breathe life into it. And I think that's a lot of what happens. You know, as a drummer, we have a different task than everybody else because we get.
You mean we're better than everybody else? What? No?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Think about it.
Devin.
We get all the blame if things go wrong. We get the blame.
Yep.
Rightfully so.
We don't get the credit if it goes great, but if it goes wrong, the drummer was too slow. What happened to the tempo there? You know, it's always we get most of the blame. By the way, so a lot of times we kind of get in our own skin sometimes, and we feel like that if we're gonna get the blame, we take more risk in coming up with these, you know, our parts to the songs. So I want to give a shout out to Herbie Hancock because he taught me a chord. I've been working with him that year. I was working with him for months.
I mean, how crazy is that?
Yeah,
Right.
That is so amazing.
doing shows with him at, in LA during the week of NAMM. So the thing is, he taught me a chord. He showed me a chord, and I used it in this arrangement.
Ah, that's why.
That's awesome.
That chord,
Oh, wow.
which is a C minor chord, C minor 7 chord, with the F major triad on top of the chord.
That's crazy.
You know anything about for the keyboard players out there, if you know anything about it, I don't even know what that's called, but that's a Herbie Hancock voicing. I just fell in love with, and this was the first opportunity for me to use it. So I used it on those hits. Da-da-da-da, bop, bop, da-da-da,
Ah,
bop. Then it goes a whole step, da-da-da-da, bop, bop. And so when we go to the end of Mark's solo, I was like, we got to do something real spicy to get to this the next solo, which was the trombone solo. We just got to do real spicy. So I was like, let's add more hits. Dun, 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 dun. But
right.
I like the way you sung that, Benny, because I did something similar on the demo. Let's try. Let me hear it. Let's try to go to where the demo. I did something though. All right, so that solo goes on. The idea for that whole thing was for it to kind of just come totally away from where we were, and kind of showcase a different part of the band, which was the trombone player, giving him some kind of shine, and Weedy, who's playing percussion, getting an opportunity to play some percussive things that are from a subtle level point of view, I guess. We were just laying down pads on keyboards,
right?
And it gave the rhythm section guys a chance to boom, boom, boom.
Yeah, and it just was also the chance to also, because everything else is so gridded, like the whole song is like and also the solo was so rhythmical and stuff that then it gave a lot of chance to kind of loosen it up a little bit. Also the time feel and longer notes and everything. Can I say one more thing about Mark, because I'm such a fan?
Yes, you can. Sure.
I think one thing that you said, Spud, about like, okay, you know what, and then we open it up in the solo thing. I think as a leader, you can do that when you have great improvisers that improvise with. So it's not, we have something written, which is, and then, or we open it up and then it's chaos, and you have those two choices. But when you have great improvisers, I think they have structure in their soloing, and they have a certain kind of build up and arrangement in their soloing. And I think that's so beautiful about like how Mark plays, that it's this constant kind of rubber band kind of tension between structure and risk, and structure and risk, and it's kind of an established idea, and then a little bit of stretch, and then he finds an elegant solution then again to the next phrase and to the next phrase. And I once got this tip about improvising, that when I worked on jazz comping, I don't know actually who told me. I'm so sorry, but it was a smart wonderful player that then told me, like, look, improvising is not, or interplay is not like parroting. It's not like, hi, how are you? Hi, how are you? I'm great. That's not a conversation. That's just stupid. That's just insulting. If you're just always like, hi, hi, it's just this echoing, like, and it's also, if you don't take reference to what's going on, it's also totally stupid. But so the middle thing between those two is great. If you hear references, but everyone also gives new impulses and stuff, and that's what I really liked about that solo, and that it gave me a chance to do that. And Mark is so amazing at that. Because you can hear it in those solos when he does a phrase and I take it a little bit and then vary it a little bit, he hears it immediately and then plays a variation, a little bit of that, and takes it, and it's just this ping pong game that doesn't work with everyone. And yeah, it's just a privilege.
Thanks,
so
man.
thank you again.
Oh, it was my pleasure. I mean, I guess just to say, it's always a joy, and this goes for all the drummers in this screen here. It's always such a joy to play with players who are listening.
Yeah.
Soloists who are listening to the rhythm sections is listening to the soloist. I mean, that because to me as an improviser, if I'm stepping out to take a solo, the last thing I want to do is treat the people behind me like a backing track.
Right.
I don't want it to be that kind of a conversation. It should be an actual. Right. It shouldn't just be me out front, standing and yelling at everyone. It should be this sort of like conversation between everyone in the bandstand. So that solo, that to me, when I hear that solo, it's sort of me and Benny. It's not really a guitar solo. It's kind of like a duet almost, but also with Joe and everyone else that's playing along. It's kind of group.
I mean, the whole band is very
solo.
interactive.
Yeah, I mean, I just happen to be louder in the mix, I guess, for a couple of bars. But so yeah, it was a real joy. Thank you, Benny. Appreciate it, man.
Oh man.
Well, I mean, for me that is the reason why the guys that are in the band are chosen, because they have those ears.
Yep.
So I mean, for those music directors or MDs that are looking for the right crew, you always need to consider that when you're. It's not just about talent all the time. You got to have people that are sensitive to these kind of subjects and these kind of things that happen on the bandstand.
Oh man, they got to have stamina.
I drank a lot of coffee that week, more than I normally do.
Well, Devin, you sat in the room while this was going on. This is the last song of the evening, right?
Yeah.
So tell us, like, listen, had you ever heard Benny play before this?
Not in person, only on YouTube and Instagram. So it was my first time. So for me being in there, it was crazy. I enjoyed it because I'm a fan of playing, bro. Certain things that you were playing, like your voices and just the way you were speaking with the whole band, it was great because it was very, very musical, and it wasn't like, yeah, this is a drum video and everything is focused on me, the drummer. Even this, if somebody is playing something over here, I'm gonna still play something that I want to play because it's me, and you didn't do that. Like, I know a lot of people that do that, but you weren't one of those players, bro. And it was just incredible to watch. My favorite thing is your solo at the end. You started on the snare by itself.
Yeah,
bro. The way you were just speaking, like it was crazy, bro.
We actually have that solo. Do you want to run that now, Sput?
Yeah, let's run it.
Yeah, because that's
solo.
Kill it! Yeah. Enough of these drums.
The ability of playing.
Sorry, Joe. By the way, for throwing down those headphones. That's the most rock and roll any German can do. Like just to be like, oh, let me drop the headphones. Oh.
You earned it at that point, man. That was a beautiful. How you played the space in that, like you used space as part of your part. Like Devon said, when you hit that snare drum at the beginning, the way you played it, first of all, it looked like you were a little upset with that snare drum, by the way.
No, I was in pain with my foot. Like I was just suffering. But that's the thing about when you have a band and an arrangement where, I mean, Weedy, you know, like there was so much wonderful time going on. It was so kind of clearly like established that then if you do a single like hit, like a 16th, like later, then people can feel that, and then it's fun to do that. If it's a little bit more mushy everything, then you have to more kind of establish what's going on. But if it's so strong, if the band is so clear, then you can kind of be like, okay, what about that one? What about that one? You know? and there's still the tension there, and I enjoyed that just so much. And
man, it was great.
Oh, thank you guys so much. It was a wonderful day, really. It was. I will always cherish that.
Yeah. I'm gonna put Joe on the real quick, and because when you started hitting the side of the floor tom with the stick, you started whacking it. I think it made a lot of people nervous because it was like,
I was waiting for a bill from Sonar.
Yeah, Sonar knows about that. Sonar knows about that. Yeah. No, that's the thing. I love that sound. I really it's really one more instrument for me on the drum set that I use. It's like an extra hi-hat or something. Like I really, and it was wonderful. Like, I mean, Mark Juliana is one of my absolute favorites of all time, right? He's an absolute badass to me. And you know how Mark is. And he came after after that song, came like, thank you. And I'm like, what? Like, thank you for reintroducing that reminding me of that sound. Thanks, man. And I'm like, well, it's a pleasure. Yeah, I like to destroy my drums. So yeah.
Speaking of
Mark is very, very cool.
Yeah, it's an awesome. We had him on a couple weeks ago, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
The first installment, it was him and Stanley, and that was a blast. But speaking of Mark and Joe, you can take over after this. But you and Mark joined you after your performance with Elmo on some to talk.
Right, we did this interview sections as well. Yeah. I was just
we got a little clip of that. We should run that.
Yeah, let's see.
So this is very confusing for me.
You just want to get on the interview?
Yeah, what are you talking
You confused Benny with your negativity. That was actually positive. It was actually a compliment.
Lingo.
Yeah, it's lingo.
When you say like, oh, that is bad, man, that means it's good, right? Yeah.
Unless it isn't.
Unless it isn't bad.
Welcome to America.
Basically a confidence level.
Yeah.
If you know then I'm screwed. I was honestly was confused. Of course, I now like burning the house down. I knew, but like bad or stupid, like I never heard that before. I'm sorry. No, it's fine. If you would have said it to me, I would have been like,
you know what, Benny? Maybe you shouldn't be listening in on Sput and myself's conversation.
Oh, maybe that's actually the point that we needed to say.
That to you. I probably wouldn't say that to you.
Okay.
I probably would have been like, Benny, man, that was really great.
Well, Benny, let me just tell you, you did great, and thank you so much for doing this, man. It's a pleasure talking to you and watching you play always, bro.
It's a big pleasure to be here. Thank you.
I do remember that now. Yeah. I do remember that interview. That was good. The lingo thing. We want to explain the lingo thing to us, Benny?
I got it. I get it now. Yeah. I learned. No, it was just so funny, like to offer some context for anyone who hasn't seen it. It's like there was this talk of like Spud talking to Mark after he played his song with this beautiful melody, and Spud was like, man, that melody, that's like that is bad, or like something like that, and I was sitting in the corner being like, oh, how can he say that? That's really that's so rude of him to say that. I mean, because so I'm fascinated with just the American way of like using bad words that then mean something very good. So of like, man, you killed that tune. It's like, really? Did I? I was a little bit insecure, but I didn't think I killed the whole tune. so so then when Spud resolved to be like, yeah, when I wouldn't talk to you, I would say like, Benny, that was really great. I thought like, I think that's actually the best way to talk with me like a 12-year-old. I think that's exactly. That's why Spud is a great band leader and musical director, because he knows how to treat people as they need to be treated. So well done.
Oh, man,
Excellent.
thank you.
Excellent.
I thought that was really hilarious, man, because really we were all in love with Mark's melody on his song.
Yeah.
So I was just excited to after his rehearsal to tell him, man, that melody, and I did use the word stupid. I was like, that stupid, man. That melody it was like hip hop slang, really. It's lingo.
Sure.
It's
Yeah.
just lingo that we talk, and you just now I don't use that term anymore because of you. I don't.
Oh no!
Now.
Maybe I messed it up. Now I use it all the time.
So
I go around in Germany and Europe and tell people like, dude, stupid, and people are like, what? And it's great.
man,
Oh, gosh.
thank you so much, man, for sharing with us on your segment and just kind of giving us insight and all of the things that were going on in your head. I think the last thing I wanted to, well, I think Joe is the guy who can take over. But the last thing I want to say to you is thank you, man, for all the inspiration that you give to the drum world, drum community.
Oh,
Man, you're not just a drummer, you're a teacher, and it's just inspiring to see a teacher have just as much passion to play as
Yeah.
to teach. So and to be just as good playing, in all,
thank you.
which you don't see a lot. So man, thank you for
Oh,
everything you do to the drum world.
thank you.
Yes.
Thank you guys. Thanks. Very, very generous of you. Yeah, let's get to Devon, please.
Yes.
I know.
I wanna...
All right, so we're going to move on to Devon's tune. I can't say anything better than what Sput just said. I mean, you know how I feel about you. It
No,
doesn't
thank
have to
you.
be said. So Devon,
Yes, sir.
I remember calling you about this, and you were like, "Yeah, I'm in." Like, I don't think I even finished asking you the question, and and we tried to figure out. I remember Sput and I talking about, well, how should we put it in order? How we should. And I said, I think we both decided, let's come out swinging hard. Let's put Devon up and really set the table for the day. And it was a little bit of pressure on you, but
Yes, it was a lot of pressure.
No. Sorry, I have to jump in again. No, when Devon plays, it puts pressure on everyone else.
that was the point, though.
It doesn't
So
put pressure on him.
and you came through, and I think you were the only one who used electronics on the tune too, which added an element of that really kind of separated you. And this is a tune that Sput, you wrote this tune, right? This wasn't an arrangement. This is one you wrote, correct?
So that's why Mark is on here, because I actually,
Right.
so I had to write all these songs, right? And I'm in the middle of touring, and I actually, the reason why I think the reason why Devin was so quick to say hello, to say I'm in, is because I talked to Devin and asked him if he'd be interested in case he got the call, interested, or what he thought about it. And he said, "Oh no, Devin is Devin. If you don't know him, then that's just the way he is. He game for whatever."
Yeah.
As long as it's positive and he's playing, he want to do it. And even if it's a challenge, and so we talked on the phone about, and I do this with most of the artists. I'm like, yo, what do you want to? Because we give them options. Like either I can write the song, or we can take a song that you've already done. And I'm hoping that they're always saying a song that I've already done. I'm hoping that they write a song for me. So he goes, yeah, man. He didn't even really answer the question. He goes, yeah, man, whatever you want to write, I'm cool with it. Just make it funky.
Yep. Fast and funky.
He was like, I want it real fast and I want it real funky. So I went through like so many ideas of my own before, I never felt like I went through like three ideas for sure, and I wasn't confident enough for them to even consider sending him the song to let him hear it. So I pulled one of.
Nope.
Uh-oh.
Sorry. Yeah, we back.
Yeah.
All right. Cool.
Yeah.
So I pulled one of my strings, which is a friend of mine who I've worked with a whole lot, which is on the the
You don't have to
string.
talk about me like I'm not here. That's weird.
And I said, Mark,
That's his thing. He talks about me like a 12-year-old. He talks about
Like,
you
like
in
I'm
the.
not here.
See, Benny, that's another American thing.
that's what we do.
You do what you do, man.
But so I called Mark and I was like, Mark, man, I need some help. My brain is fried right now. I need some help. If you got we trying to come up with this fast, funky, if you got any grooves, because what Mark is, I don't know if you're still doing this, but Mark it seemed like he was doing this every week. He was posting like these very short, funky clips on Instagram.
Yeah.
And they would just be like they appear and then they'll go away, like 30 seconds long, and then it's like, oh wow, what just happened? Let me get more of that or whatever. And so I saw that he was doing this stuff a couple of times, but so I knew that he could do that. He can spit that. He can spit a riff or a groove out, if I asked him. So he sent me 2 grooves, and oh man, like I should play the first groove you sent me. Actually,
I think I had. Yeah, I sent. It was from a. It was actually from a gear demo that I did for a pedal by TC Electronic, which is like this stereo imaging pedal that makes it sound like you've double tracked yourself.
Okay, Mark, not too much guitar stuff, okay?
Well, I mean, there's a couple. I'm reading the comments.
You
There's
lost
like
us.
one
We're
or
already
two
gone.
Kick pedals, moon gels,
Hey, Mark.
flams, paradiddles.
Hey, Mark. What foot technique do you use on that pedal, by the way?
I use these, man. They're rainbow sandals, dude. I'm a Californian.
Wow.
But I had the riff. I had posted it to Instagram, and I was like, oh, this would work once it gets sputified, is like what I like to call it. After I send him ideas for songs, and he sputifies them and then sends them to Devon, and Devon kills it. There, to use that vernacular again, he killed it. But yeah, if you have the demo, I was looking for it. Maybe I don't. I have it somewhere, but you probably have it. But I don't know.
I guess what Mark sent was probably stupid.
Mostly.
so I do. Can we go to the screen? And I'll play it. So no one has ever heard this. This is going to be the first time.
No, we're not seeing it yet.
Are you seeing it now?
No.
Is it gonna make me upset that I didn't pick this one?
Share it with Scotty in the mission control there.
Oh, okay. I see what has to happen here. I'm sharing screen. There's 2 screens. So I'm gonna share this one. All right, you got it? You got it now?
There you go, yep.
There it is.
All right. So Devin, this is the song that you was like, let's see. I think I'm gonna go with the other one. This is the
All right.
Wait, that's loud. Let me turn it down. All right.
Oh, I did send you this one.
I remember Yeah.
Nice.
Well, if you're not going to use it, I'd like it back so I could.
I'll play on it.
Somebody else want. That sounds great. Devin, you want to do another
good.
one? How about all three of you guys play on it? That was great.
Yeah,
I
let's
like
do
that.
it.
I don't even remember that. That's great.
Yeah. So now we got stuff. We got residue. We got residue material.
Yeah, we got B-sides, dude.
So this one was so Sput. So you sent Devin this one, and he was like, "Yeah, I like the other one better."
Yeah, I sent him this one, and I sent him both of them basically.
Yeah.
And
He chose the other one. Yeah.
chose the other one, which was rightfully so. He, it was the better fit for what he was looking for.
Right.
Yeah.
But it's just, it's just kind of crazy that happened. How things happen sometimes. So now we're going to get into what actually happened with Devin's piece. So this is the part that he, so I called Mark and I was like, Mark, give me riff. He gave me this riff. Well, let's just go through it. Here we go. That's me explaining it. So Mark, who is a genius at this stuff, sent me over an MP3 that had a guitar riff and a melody to it. And it was just him playing guitar. And so this is what it sounded like. All right, so
that's so good.
So the idea was that to take these two parts, which is an A section and like a bridge or whatever, take these two parts and flesh it out, for the band. So have the rhythm section play the melody with Mark, and then have the horn section kind of answer, and then on the bridge we can all play it together. So this is what it sounded like. Okay, so now we have the arrangement of the melody and the bridge, including all the configuration of the band. So the only thing I needed to do now is make sure that we added a very special part to the song, and I wanted to kind of draw from the excitement of a song that I do with a band called Snarky Puppy called What About Me? On the We Like It Here record. And I just wanted to kind of have like this really intense, special part that ends very dramatically. before we go into another part of the song, like the solo section of the song. So this is what I came up with for that. So completed
That's
the
what
entire
Devon was doing too. It's
song,
like,
right? Now, all we got to do is do the intro, and because it's so funky, I want it to be real. He wanted it really funky, and you know, that instrument belongs to the bass to me. So I was like, why not do a bass solo in the intro? So I want you to hear how it started off, and then we can hear what it turned into. But this is how it started off. All right.
Yeah.
So this is as you can see, that you can stop sharing that now, Scott. So as you can see, like he had an idea already. Once he picked this song out, he had an idea already, like within the arrangement. That's what I sent him, and then he hit me back, and he was like, "Okay, what are you thinking for the solo, or what are you thinking for the rest of the song?" I was like, "Well." He was like, I want to play my pad. I want to go into like this trap kind of thing, because that's what he does with his band a lot. And I kind of, I was like, I knew exactly what to do. So I was like, but I didn't write it. I wanted that to be something that happened in rehearsal.
Right.
When we got all of the guys together, and we did rehearsals without him for a couple days. And then when we did the run through rehearsals with all of the artists, that's when it really came together. And then we came out. So his song is very unique, because I never really had a way to end the song before that rehearsal. And so, yeah, so I just, I was like, I want him to play over those hits once we get to his solo. I mean, like, the band really enjoyed playing that bridge part. Everybody always had a kick playing that part, so kick out of playing that part. So I was like, we got to go back there after the trap thing. So we just kind of made the trap thing kind of ramp up, and he was just playing, and that was organic as well. That didn't happen.
I actually also we always laugh, but some way I found coming out of that. I lost the one coming out of that trap part solo. When Simran was going for blood, that's why me and Joe was laughing at each other. It was super organic.
Yeah, that's crazy because I didn't know what was going on. I just know that the click, as long as we had the click, we were cool. And I was always able to, to say 1, 2, 3, Greg. As long as everybody could hear my voice in the midst of all the chaos, I felt like we was gonna be okay. So
Yes, sir.
that kind of saved us a little bit. But to get into the drum solo, I was like, I want him to solo over that crazy riff, but I felt like it was too much information if the whole band was playing it. So I think I had you, Mark, right? You and Joe play it first, right?
Maybe. Yeah, maybe, but I definitely remember it break down to pretty minimal.
Do we have a clip of the drum solo?
Yeah, but it's at the outro.
It was just drums and keyboards, right?
Yeah, I think it was just drums and keys.
Somebody played the bass figure, right?
Yeah, it was drums.
Nick did it. Yeah.
So I just wanted to to layer that thing, and so instead of the horns playing the thing, the horns came in and they was doing the stabs. And then we breathed a little bit and we had you, kind of just blow, and then we come back. It's done. That was my idea to end the song, but it turned out to be what it is on the day of the performance. But it's just, it goes to show again, be open about whatever arrangement you're making, because ultimately the artists are the ones you're trying to please. So ultimately the their input is going to make more sense even if you write. So you can't get married too much to the things that you come up with in the beginning, because and I like to surround myself with people like that, which is the reason why Mark is a genius to me, because he allows me to take small ideas that he might have had other plans for, and just kind of make them my own. So thank you so much for that, man.
Man, my pleasure. Thanks for having me help you out writing tunes, man. We're 3 for 3, I think, at this point.
Yeah, we're 3 for 3 right now.
Yeah.
So Devin, I mean, let's do the same for you. Let's take us to the day you show up, and just take us through in your mind. Like, this is the first time you did something like this, I know, because you're still fairly at the beginning of your career at this time, at this moment, right? So just talk us through like how this felt, for you.
Well, it was amazing to be a part of something with a company like Bigfoot and Zildjian, and I really appreciate you guys. And it was great. It felt great to just be able to play with you, Sput, Mark, the rest of the band, play with Benny, Mark, Mike. Who else played that day? Eric Harlan. It was just great to be able to do a video with everybody, and we had Dave Vocal and Peter Erskine there too. So that was kind of crazy for me too. I never met them in person until that day, so I was excited, but I was a little nervous when you guys told me that I had to play first, though. That was like y'all punched me in the stomach with that one, but it was cool, man. Like just listening to the arrangement and pretty much figuring out, like you said, I want to incorporate my electronics. So what could I do to, incorporate my electronics but still have
Dev, so what was behind the decision to do that?
To incorporate the electronics, I love funk, like Sput mentioned before. I told him I wanted something really, really funky and fast. But I listened to like a lot of Prince and Morris Day and Time stuff. So anybody that knows Prince or Morris Day, anything that they worked on, even Michael Jackson, like the claps were just crazy. Or any of the electronic drum sounds that they had. The Lin drum machine is crazy. And the sounds that they had coming from that just made the record, to me, like stronger in per se. So that's what I wanted to do with this. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna play my pad. Of course, I can't play anything funky and not have any claps. And then I was like, I also, incorporate my triggers in my electronics. So a lot of people ask me like, man, like, so are you really playing like triggers? Like when I was on tour with Justin or any other artist, like, man, so like, do you really play like the snare samples and like the kick drum sounds and stuff like with the acoustic drum kit? I was like, yeah, so let me figure out how I can show everybody. And this was perfect. Show everybody like, okay, yes, I really do this. You guys can see it. You feel me? Like you can see me switching patches. You can see me playing certain things, and you'll be able to relate to it because you can hear it and see me doing it. Versus like, oh, you're listening to the concert, but you don't really know if that's like me playing it. Like it's like, oh yeah, that's in the track.
The cameras
like,
are not really on you, so
yeah, right. So I'm like, yeah, man, let me just go ahead and add my electronics too. So that was the thing that really wanted me with it. Made me want to add my electronics. Just listening to Prince and a bunch of funk and incorporating the things that I do live on tour with this too. So that's why I wanted to do that.
We should show a little bit of a dress rehearsal.
Oh yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
So good.
That's funky.
Oh man.
Hey, that you're so focused.
Yeah, I know.
You were so focused.
Nailed.
Yeah, that's so funny because you were really focused on that. So what at this point had you practiced with this and are you like still trying to figure out what you're gonna play over the stuff, or you were pretty dialed in?
I think I was pretty dialed in, but I wanted to come up with like a definite pattern of some sort to play over that part. So I was still trying out things during like the rehearsals.
Because you hadn't had the chance to play like with Benny.
He knew his song. It was
Benny
his song.
knew his song. It was his song. So it's like that's a different perspective or a way for you, Benny. Like you had to relearn your song still, right? You had to restructure the way you saw the song. But for you, you'd never played this song before in front of other than you asked me to sing you like the demo.
Yeah, that's it.
But let me ask you a question. Did I normally like demo like drums on there? Did I do like drum the solo? Okay, but I didn't.
I don't think you put drums for like the solo and stuff.
Okay, cool. So you had an idea of what it could sound like to play, but you never played with it before, right?
Right. Yep. I remember when I got to my solo though, you did give me some tips, and I appreciate it.
What's
was
that?
Like I think when I first was playing the solo on the I wasn't spacing out like my vocabulary. I think I just was like going from like you were just like, bro, I think that you should, break it down a little bit. Talk, a little bit, and then build the solo up, man. Like I think it'll be dope, bro. Like, I mean, you're killing it right now. Like, let it breathe a little bit. So I was like, all right, cool, but you know what? Yeah. So, yeah. So I appreciate that, but you opened me up. You opened my mind.
Well, you know what that is too. That's the pressure of being first going. I have to.
Oh, I gotta go. I gotta.
But then having that's good though, because that's Sput being Sput, man. Just knowing like, hey man, let me give you a little bit of advice, break it down.
Yeah, that's nervous energy.
Man, super nervous. Yeah, thank you so much.
Well, another question I want to ask you was like, well, Benny, let's go to you. You sitting in the room. you knew at this time what number you were gonna be, right? Did you
Sorry, I didn't hear that again.
at this point, did you know what number you were gonna be?
You mean
like-
in which order?
Yeah, which
Yeah.
order?
Yeah, I think I was. I think I was going to be the last one. Yeah, yeah,
So you knew this, right?
yeah.
All right. So for Devin, his mind is racing because like we all were kind of bugging that Peter Erskine and Dave Wuckel is in the control room. We all kind of bugging about this, and really Devin is one of the few performances they saw because they didn't stay all day,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
Am I right, Joe? They didn't stay the whole day, right?
Yeah, I invited them to come down, and they came down, and then everybody looked at me like, "Are you crazy?" I was like, "Oh, come on, man! You wouldn't be here if it wasn't for a reason." And they were just blown away, man.
Two of the
By
greatest
they
drummers
stayed-
ever. No pressure, guys.
Yeah,
Right.
it was really funny because both of them were like, "We'll stay for a song and then we'll jet," and they didn't stay they stayed for a few songs.
Yeah.
Didn't want to leave, but had to because they had a session or a lesson or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
And
Well, this is a long day. Very
it
long
was.
day.
It is a long day.
Yeah. So
Yeah, 12 hours.
Yeah.
Easy.
So my question to you, Benny, knowing that all of this was going on, and then you get to watch the first performer, take us through like what it felt like to witness Devon. This was your first time witnessing Devon, or had you seen him before now?
Yeah, I knew immediately that I was screwed. I mean, but on a more serious note, I mean, I have so much respect for Devon. Of course, it's super inspiring.
Thank you, man. Thank you so much.
And
Yes,
and
sir.
I think what Devon also said, like, I think it's hard to explain really, but like how a day like this feels as a performer, like when you have people that play amazing. I mean, to just have that as a studio job alone would be a lot of pressure. You have, like, I mean, who has a studio job nowadays where you can do 2 takes and that's it, bye, you know?
That's it.
with a huge band, with a lot of players, like with a complicated arrangement.
With Joe looking at me like this.
Yeah, yeah. So because that's the thing. It's really old school. You don't want to let anyone else down. You know, you don't want to fool around and then everyone else has to be like, oh, we have to do another one. So you want to have your stuff together as well. I mean, that alone. But then to be in a room with all these other drummers, and then to have seen other drummers like perform so greatly, and then just two of the biggest idols are there. And I mean, on that day, I mean, Matt Garska walking around, and like, I mean, just everyone, like Eric Harland, Mark, everyone was just amazing. And but I think the most beautiful thing is as well that I think everyone feels that way a little bit, although I mean, for example, like Devon, of course, doesn't have any reason to doubt anything because he's just so amazing. But I think also, especially in nowadays times, it's just everyone comes there with a different background, with a completely different kind of experience and mindset and whatever. And it was just a celebration of respect and everyone was a gentleman, and it was just a wonderful, wonderful day of respecting each other and appreciating each other. And so there is the pressure there, but there is also so much beauty and grace in that at the same time, or because of that, maybe even, you know. So sorry, maybe I took that too far, but that's how I feel.
Nah, for sure.
Oh, Sput, you're not there.
My bad. Sorry.
Okay.
I was gonna say I was really excited to see you being able to watch the younger guys play.
You're saying I'm old? Is that what you're saying? That is what you're saying.
I believe I'm older than you, so
Next you will say that I'm stupid, probably.
Are we the same age?
I don't know. I just got 40 a couple of days ago. So.
Oh yeah, I'm 5 years older than you, so I can call you old if I want to.
That's fine.
But no,
definitely.
I think again, Devin, how old are you? You like 25, 26 or something now? 27?
Yes.
Jesus
That is
Christ.
so mean. That is just mean.
The time is going by. I remember Devin when long before 27. So I've watched him grow up. So I mean, I watch him as a drummer that had a career for decades, at least a decade before he even got on the scene. And sometimes I see these guys play, him and Lil Mike specifically on this vfJAMS things, and these guys are like they're like aliens now. Like the stuff that they do on the drum, it's like ninjas, like acrobats. It's just like athletes or something on the drums or whatever. And it's just something to marvel at, So I always like to see the reaction of people like close to my age or people that have been around to witness their minds going in the middle of the of the moment and see what's coming out of their minds. I was really interested in seeing what you thought and how it affected you, because I saw most of Mark was like shaking his head and just like seeing the reaction of most people. Yeah.
Well, it's three things for me basically. The first is I play a lot on drum festivals and stuff like that, so I'm kind of used to, in a way, that there will be just things that hit me in the groin in a positive way. so that's just, I'm just used to that. I'm battered. I'm scarred by that, and that's great. But second thing is, it's still always wonderful. It is not a beat down. It is a lift up. Whenever you see someone like Devon, it's just inspiring and an amazing feeling to see something like that. And the third thing is what you said before of like, oh, I had to pace myself and I had to like get some advice and stuff. I mean, what a luxury problem that is of guys like Devon, because they would have the vocabulary and the energy and everything to not pace themselves. They just could go they just could like go full energy the whole time, and then it's a decision to not do that. Others have to do that because they just don't have enough repertoire. So it's just great. I respect you, man. So
man, thank you so much. Thank you. It's like what you said. You don't want it to be so mushy. You know what I mean? Like if you come in just all over for 32 bars, it's gonna get annoying after probably the first 8. Like, all right.
No.
Do we have anything else? Like, can you just, man, you're just going. And I didn't want to be like that player. I wanted it to be musical, and I wanted, people that don't have anything to do with music, that don't understand music or interpret music like how we interpret it, to be able to still relate to it. Like, man, like he's killing, like, or not even so much killing. Like, man, that just did something to me. Like,
well, I have to say that shows, for your age, that's a lot of maturity, man.
Yeah.
And I mean, we do have a clip. I don't know, Spud, you tell me if you want to do this or not, but we have a clip of Devon and Nick playing the keyboard solo, and this to me shows that maturity, like the interaction between him and Nick, and how you bring it down and bring it back up. I mean, are you cool if we show that?
Let's do it. And then I'm gonna ask Mark a question.
Okay.
Yeah, we made it. We made it.
We made it.
You see
Yeah.
Joe's face in that one spot. Joe's face on the bass. Like, wow. So
Man,
great.
we were
But
lost. I lost one. It's like,
Yeah.
I gotta find it.
Right. I think everybody was like, that was a laugh, a sigh of relief on everybody's face, because it was a lot going on, like sonically, like you
Yeah.
you can really hear a lot going on. So like my voice in a lot of ways wasn't cutting through in some of those moments when it was very high intense, and so we was just hoping. I was just hoping that everybody heard me, because I was like, no matter if we get lost, y'all just make sure y'all got my mic up so that y'all can hear me go 1, 2, 3, let's go. Whatever I would say. Then we go to the next part. But that's why I wanted to, to hear from Mark on this in these sections, and I mean in this segment, because from the standpoint of a band member on this platform, how important is it that you utilize every element of your professionalism in these moments? Because a lot of times, normally, the talk shows and TV shows, everything is by script and everything is on paper. Like everything is scripted out from one bar to the next, one note to the next. And in this setting, it's not. It's very loose and it's very. So talk us through that, and give me a little bit more insight too on how you feel about now that you heard the song, you realized and written, completely, and then hearing him perform it, as a drummer from an artist.
Well, I'll answer your second question first.
Yeah.
I mean, it was awesome. I love, because I write music all the time, but it's usually for my own project or something like that. So it's great to just kind of come up with something and let it go. Like you still identify with it from a small emotional perspective, but it's when it becomes somebody else's thing and they completely turn it inside out, the way that you added all the stuff to it, the way that Devon interpreted the entire thing, did all the solos, did his sound, the electronics, the whole groove. I just sort of look at it as like, I don't even consider it mine anymore. You know what I mean? Like, and I mean that in a good way. Like I set it free, like it goes off, like it's like be gone, like into the ether, and then it becomes this whole thing for everybody. So I love I love having that experience, and just kind of like I said, hearing how things can be interpreted, because I didn't envision half of that stuff, of course, so it's always great to kind of sit back and while you're playing it, be like, yeah, this is what needs to be happening right now, with these people playing it this way, this arrangement, this style, but to answer your first question, I think I'm fortunate that I've had so many experiences that are somewhat similar to the Vic Firth thing, in the sense where it's a very high pressure live recording situation on camera. And if anyone's familiar with the way Snarky Puppy's done things for several albums, I mean, it's very similar to that. It's high intensity music that you learned, that you memorized to the best of your abilities. But when the red light goes on, you kind of never really know what's going to happen, so you prepare up into a point to where like you can cover for potential issues, but it's almost like you don't want it to be so rehearsed that the element of danger isn't there, because I think sometimes having that element of like, oh my gosh, everything could catch fire any minute now, is kind of like where the magic sometimes happens, when the real humanity of the music kind of comes out. So as long as everybody is rehearsed but has their big ears, wearing their big ears, that's where you can kind of tune into the magic and really kind of get those unexpected moments that make things really special, and then when it's all over, you just have the coldest beer of your life, and it's
right.
It's great,
right. So, cool, man.
And you deserved it then.
Well, hopefully. Sometimes I drink them even if I don't. That's the problem,
Sure. But it
it's
tastes
pretty
better.
good. I'll just
Well, Mark,
65% today. I'm gonna head to the.
thanks, man.
My
Mark,
pleasure, guys. Thank you.
thank you for coming on and hanging out with us. I know you got so much to do. You got all those guitars over there. So
I'm just gonna snuggle with them. We're not ready.
That is
Sweet
disgusting.
nothings. It's not very comfortable either.
So thank you for spending some time with us,
It's
man.
my pleasure, guys. Love y'all, man. This was really fun. Thank you.
Thanks, Mark. So
Thank
much.
you, Mark.
Thank you,
Appreciate you,
man.
buddy.
Thank you
I'm
so
gonna
much.
head out. Bye, guys.
Yes.
Take care.
All right, Mark.
Yeah.
Peace.
Peace.
So great, man.
What a player.
Yeah.
So yeah, so Devin, man. First of all, the questions are brewing up in the live chats.
Oh yeah.
I'm seeing, yeah. But I want to say to all you guys, thank you guys for being a part. You know, all of the people that are participating in the chat room, chat rooms on both sides. I think we're YouTube and Facebook, right? You guys, some of you guys are asking me questions. I would say wait till my thing. We're gonna do one where we talk about my song, and I'll answer any questions. So just keep coming back. Cool. But I think some questions about, Devin. They're asking how you got the Justin Bieber gig, because a lot of people are now realizing you had the Bieber gig, and they're asking what was that like, and you had to learn all that music, and what was that like? Was it kind of the same approach to this, or was it something completely different?
It was kind of the same approach. As far as me learning the music, I'm very detailed with everything, so it was kind of the same approach, but it was a little bit different. For the tour, I had 3 months to really like learn the music. We're not really learning, but 3 months to really live with it and sit and just play it over and over and over and over and try out different ideas. Like, oh, this works and this doesn't work.
Is this at home or at rehearsals?
Well, at home and at rehearsals. We did 3 months of rehearsals.
Wow.
So bro, even when rehearsal was over, if it's something that I felt like I wanted to get stronger at, like a particular song, then I was able to still stay after rehearsal or come before rehearsal and work things out with everybody. But with this, I kind of worked out some of the stuff at home, but we only had like 1 day to rehearse.
Right.
So this one was a little bit more challenging. And to answer the question about how I got the Bieber gig, a friend of mine, his name is Max. I forgot Max's last name, but he's an amazing guitar player. He plays for Taylor Swift and Demi Lovato, a lot of people. We were doing auditions for Demi Lovato at the time, and I sat and I played in the audition with the guitarist, Max. And his friend was the music director at the time for Justin Bieber. His name is Dan Canner. So he was the music director at the time. And Max found out that they were having auditions for Justin. And he called Dan and was like, hey, man, it's this young dude that just moved to LA, bro. Like, I know you guys are looking for a drummer for Justin. You need to call him, bro, and let him audition, man. He's amazing, pretty much. So that's how I got the gig. Max called Dan. Dan called me to come and do the auditions. And yeah, that's how it came about. I guess I was pretty good because they let me stay.
Well,
but what a lot of people don't know too, Sput, is I actually turned the auditions down because I was supposed to be in Africa with another artist during the time of the auditions. Like flights and everything were booked, and I was just like, man, like. But I had been praying to God, like, God, I really, really want to do like a major tour, like an arena tour, like stadium tour, like a huge artist. And it just so happened that it presented itself like in this way. So at first I kept telling them like, nah, man, I can't do the auditions. Is it possible if I can do it on a different day? Because I'm supposed to be in Africa like on this day. So they're like, man, no, not really. We really can't move the auditions because management was there, the creative director, the production manager, like everybody pretty much like had scheduled like that time off to do auditions. So I was just like, man, I guess I'm just gonna have to miss the gig. Like, But they called me back and was like, bro, if it makes you feel any better, it's gonna be you and 2 more people doing the audition, bro. Just come. Like, so I talked to God, and I felt bad. You know, I wouldn't tell anybody to do this, but I felt bad about having to abandon the other situation. But to me personally, like, this was just a better opportunity and a level up in my career. So I felt bad for having to renege on my word, but I mean, if it's worth it, you know, and if you're blessed and you get placed in a situation where it can take your career to the next level, or you can stay where you at in life, then, you know, what would you do? Would you take it to the next level, or would you, stay? So I decided to take it to the next level. I had one of my friends come in and actually do the gig that I was supposed to do it in Africa, and then I went and did the auditions, and that was even more pressure because I'm like, man, I just quit this other gig. I pray that I get this one. If I don't get this one, then I'm gonna feel stupid. But everything worked out. So that's kind of how I got the Beaver gig.
Well, there you have it. I mean, like, that's professionalism. You know, you have to make decisions. That's business. There's a whole lot of things that are tied into that. But yeah. So there you have it. Hopefully that answers some of the questions for you guys. The last question I have for you, and I turn it over to Joe. I think he might have one more clip or whatever. But your setup, you had a very unique setup. The way you set toms. There were toms. There was a smaller tom over here in the midst of giant tom land. And then you swapped out. You did some stuff that I've tried to do in my time a couple times. But just take us through that and why you felt the need to do that, and then what did that affect your playing in a different way, or what it inspired you differently?
Most definitely. For the toms, I was using an 8-inch, an 8x6, and a 10x6.5 for the rack toms, but I flipped them. So, normally people would play 8-10 and go down, and so forth. So I did 10-8. Then I did 16-18, and then I had my 12-inch tom was to the right with the 16-18. The reason why I did it too, because I wanted to, like, when I was going around the toms, I was hearing different, like, melodic, like, tones as far as, what I wanted to play, like, with the toms. So the best way I could, try to get something done that was different and unique was to switch it around like that. I'm like, okay, cool. I'm tired of hearing like the 8, then the 10 all the time, or I'm tired of hearing like the 10, 12, and then going down. So how about I switch them and just see how it sounds? If I stretch out, I start on the 10, then I go to the 8 because it's different, and it just made it easier. It made it sonically is different, but it made it easier for me to switch it around and play it that way versus like, okay, I'm gonna start on the 8, then let me try to go over here and then come back up to this because this is what I heard. Nah, let me just put the 10, 8, 16, 18. That way when I go around, it's like it's different and it's coming from a different place. So it makes you think different while you're playing the drums. It's like most of the time you would have put a 12-inch tom over here or an 8-inch tom over here and play it to like your right or whatever. It's like, okay, cool. I can come off with a floor tom and hit this, and now this is a different sound that I'm not used to. Like, so that's what kind of made me do it. And the snares, I play my snares that way on tour because of just all the music that I had to play. I was tired of switching to the left to like play all the time. Like try to come this way. I'm like, nah, let me just 14, 10-inch snare and then the toms. That way, if I wanted to do something on this snare and the toms, like everything is right here and I don't have to reach far. You know what I mean? So that's kind of what made me set it up the way that I set it up. Just wanted to try something different. I was hearing certain things and I'm like, all right, cool. This is making me think a lot different. And it was everything was small and compact and tight too. So
yeah,
it just made it super duper comfortable.
Well, cool,
this
man.
This is dangerous talk. This makes me want to put more drums on my drum kit. So
nah, not at all.
For a lot a lot of people are asking questions about both of you guys. So people know, if you go to the Vic Firth YouTube page and search either one of these guys, you're going to see some stuff that we've done for them in the past. I know, Devin, I did a priority access with you at the very beginning of the Justin tour years ago at the Garden.
Yeah.
So that's a pretty cool interview. Talk about that whole process with Justin Bieber and stuff, and Benny,
Yes, sir.
you and I talking about your stick and all that coming out. But all right, we're getting on 2 hours here, so I wanted to get one more clip in before we end this
Okay.
of the solo at the end of Devin, and I want everybody to pay close attention to the VKB3, the puffy beater that my man's using on this, which everybody's still like, how did you do that? What was that? But let's run that clip and have everybody take a check it out. There you go.
That was rough. That was rough.
No, it wasn't.
Unbelievable.
No, it wasn't.
Yes, it was. If I could go back and do it all over, it would be totally different.
No,
But it
it
would
shouldn't be
also be
different.
good.
It's exactly the way it should be.
Yeah.
It's perfect.
Thank
Well, listen,
God.
man,
Nice.
I want to thank all you guys for making the time to do this. It's been a lot of fun, and I think it's just such a great opportunity for people to see the other side of things, and couldn't be more. I say this all the time. I couldn't be more honored and humbled to be able to work with talent like you guys, and we're just very
Thank you
happy
so
and proud to have you on the Vic Firth, roster, and it's
Thank you.
just beautiful. And I want everybody else, if in 2 weeks, I think it's July 20th. Yeah, July 20th, same time. We're going to do Mike Mitchell and Eric Harlan. So there's a third installment. So it should be a lot of fun.
It's a lot of information on this one, man. It was a
Yeah.
lot. So this was a good one. Yeah. Thank you guys.
Thank
Again.
Oh, yeah, I
you
see
very
a
much, guys.
Somebody shouted out my boy Max. His name is Max Bernstein. That's the guitarist's name.
Ah,
Who hooked me
there you
up
go.
with it.
There you go.
Shout out to Max.
All right. All right, guys.
I want to thank you guys, Vic Firth, to making a platform for that and showing musicians in their real habitat. You know, like in playing music, and I think that's why there's so much to talk about because it's it's real human interaction stuff, and this is what it's all about, and it's just great sticks and great people. So thank you guys for letting me be part of this, and I'm really honored. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you.
I agree with Benny. Thank you guys for letting me be a part of the most amazing stick company in the world. I'm sorry, Zildjian Cymbals. I'm sorry, Benny and Sput. Sorry, Tama though. But shout out to all the companies and shout out to you guys for, like Benny said, creating a platform for us to really do like what we love doing outside of touring and playing with like our bands and doing shows. Like this is like something for us to just come and do and have fun, like, and really play like the things that we want to play, because we don't get a chance to do that a lot. So we really appreciate you guys for that. Thank you so much.
This is the one place where I think we can all go and drummers don't get the blame. All right, guys. Thanks a lot, man. Everybody out there, please stay safe. and thank you so much. And we'll see you in a couple weeks for the next installment. Take care. All righty. Bye-bye.
Peace.